Have you ever felt that unsettling feeling, like a shadow is following you, but when you turn around, there's nothing there? Or that strange sense of being watched, even when you're completely alone? Today I want to share a story with you. It's a story about a young woman named Clara, a talented artist whose life took a very strange turn. It's a story about hidden envy, unseen forces, and the incredible, life-changing power of prayer. Clara was brilliant. Her paintings weren't just images. They were emotions captured on canvas. Light seemed to dance in her brushstrokes, and colors sang harmonies that moved everyone who saw them. She poured her heart and soul into her art, and her passion was contagious. Soon galleries started noticing. Her first solo exhibition was a massive success. Critics raved. Collectors bought her work. And suddenly, Clara, the quiet girl who used to paint in her small sunlit studio, was the talk of the art world. She was living her dream, and she felt incredibly blessed. She was grateful for her talent, for the opportunities, and for the joy her art brought to others. But as her star rose, a subtle shift began to occur. At first it was small things. A fellow artist, someone she had once considered a friend, would offer a compliment that felt off. It was like a beautiful apple with a tiny bitter seed inside. "Congratulations, Clara," they'd say, but their eyes would hold a flicker of something else, something cold. Then strange things started happening in her studio. A favorite brush would go missing, only to reappear in an odd place. A nearly finished painting would have a small, unexplainable smudge, forcing her to rework a section she had already perfected. She brushed it off as carelessness, blaming her busy schedule. The feeling of being watched intensified. In her studio, she'd feel a chill, a heavy presence that made the vibrant colors of her palette seem dull. At night, her dreams were filled with unsettling images, shadowy figures tearing at her canvases, whispering words of doubt and failure. She started waking up exhausted, the joy she once felt in her studio replaced by a creeping dread. Her creativity, once a flowing river, became a blocked stream. She would stare at a blank canvas for hours, her mind a fog of anxiety. The confidence that had once fueled her was crumbling, replaced by self-doubt and fear. What was happening to her? Was she losing her mind? One day, another artist, an older, kinder woman named Isabella, noticed the change in Clara. She saw the dark circles under her eyes and the spark that had gone missing. Isabella had been in the art world for decades and had seen it all: the ambition, the competition, and the darker side of success. She invited Clara for a cup of tea. As Clara hesitantly described the strange occurrences and the suffocating feeling she couldn't shake, Isabella listened patiently, her expression one of deep understanding. When Clara finished, Isabella didn't tell her she was imagining things. Instead, she said something that would change everything. "Clara," she said softly, "success is a bright light, and bright lights attract more than just admirers. They also attract shadows. What you're feeling is not just in your head. It's the weight of envy, a powerful negative energy. Some people, when they see your light shine, don't celebrate it. They resent it. And that resentment can feel like a spiritual attack." Isabella then shared her own secret weapon against this kind of negativity. It wasn't a charm or a ritual. It was something much simpler and much more powerful. "Prayer," she said. "When you feel that darkness closing in, you must build a fortress of light around yourself. You build it with prayer." Clara was skeptical. She had grown up with a distant idea of faith but had never truly practiced it. How could words whispered into the air possibly fight something so tangible, so malevolent? Seeing her doubt, Isabella didn't preach. She simply shared her own experience. "When I was your age," she explained, "a rival tried to sabotage my career. The envy was so intense I almost quit. I felt drained, hopeless. Then I started to pray. Not for my rival to fail, but for my own protection. I prayed for a shield of light around me, for my heart to be filled with peace instead of fear, and for the negative energy to be returned to its source, transformed into love." She encouraged Clara to try it. "Don't pray against anyone," she advised. "Pray for your own spirit. Ask for strength, for clarity, and for your God-given creativity to be protected. Fill your studio not just with sunlight, but with the light of your faith." Desperate, Clara decided to give it a try. That evening she went back to her studio. The air felt heavy, as usual. But instead of picking up a brush, she sat quietly in the middle of the room. She closed her eyes, and feeling a little foolish at first, she began to pray. She didn't use fancy words. She just spoke from her heart. She asked for protection. She asked for peace. She visualized a warm golden light surrounding her, pushing back the shadows. She prayed for her talent, viewing it as a gift she was meant to share. She even prayed for those who envied her, asking that their hearts might find their own joy and purpose, so they wouldn't need to diminish hers. She did this every day. Before she picked up a brush, she would spend a few moments in quiet prayer. At first, nothing dramatic happened. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. The heavy feeling in her studio started to lift. It felt lighter, clearer. The unsettling dreams became less frequent, replaced by peaceful sleep. The small, strange accidents stopped. Most importantly, her creative block began to dissolve. Ideas started flowing again, timidly at first, then with a rushing force. The joy returned. Her colors seemed brighter, her strokes more confident. It was as if a veil had been lifted. One afternoon, she ran into the artist whose envy had been the most palpable. Clara braced herself for another backhanded compliment. But this time, the artist looked at her differently. There was no coldness in her eyes. She simply said, "Clara, I saw your new piece online. It's breathtaking. You truly have a gift." There was no bitterness, only genuine admiration. It was a small moment, but for Clara, it was a massive confirmation. The prayers weren't just protecting her, they were transforming the energy around her. Clara's career continued to soar, but she was different now. She was no less ambitious, but her ambition was grounded in gratitude and a deep sense of inner peace. She learned that true strength isn't about never facing darkness. It's about knowing how to turn on the light. Her art took on a new depth, a spiritual quality that resonated even more deeply with her audience. She had discovered the ultimate secret, the most powerful tool an artist or anyone could possess, a direct line to a source of infinite strength, peace, and protection. This story reminds us that the unseen world is real. The energies of envy, jealousy, and negativity are not just feelings. They can have a real impact on our lives, our work, and our well-being. But we are not defenseless. Prayer is our shield, our sword, and our sanctuary. It connects us to a power far greater than any darkness. It's not about wishing harm on others, but about building a fortress of divine light around ourselves, our loved ones, and our dreams. So if you ever feel that unexplained weight, that creeping doubt, or that sense of being under attack, remember Clara. Close your eyes, breathe, and pray in Jesus' name. Ask for a shield of light. Ask for peace to fill your heart. Turn your fear over to a higher power and ask for your own spirit to be strengthened. You have the power to change the atmosphere around you, to reclaim your peace, and to protect your gifts. Your light is meant to shine brightly, so don't ever let anyone's shadow dim it. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share this story with you today. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories of faith and inspiration. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, you are stronger than you think. Until next time, stay blessed and keep shining.